OK, it's 1:48. You're watching and listening to Good Afternoon Britain. Now, the devolved Welsh Government is telling librarians to avoid holding meetings in what they're calling racist buildings.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. One of those added to the list is the William Gladstone Library, named after the 19th century Prime Minister. This is after guidance introduced by the Senedd in 2021 put dozens of buildings in Wales, from pubs to community centres, on a dossier of venues they say are linked to slavery and colonialism, and they want to eradicate systemic racism by 2030. It's not like they've got anything else on. It's not like the health system's in crisis, that children's education isn't doing particularly well. You know, it's nothing to do with that. Joining us now is the director of Don't Divide Us. It's Alka Sehgal Cuthbert. Thank you very much. Great to have you on the show. Can a library be racist?
Hello, and thank you for inviting me. The air turned blue in our household when I read about this yesterday, but I'll try and be a bit more rational today. No, of course it can't be. This is just mythical thinking, really, isn't it? It's characteristic of pre-modern societies where people kind of, you know, do their ritualistic obeisances to the gods, really. I don't know what rational aim the government is trying to achieve, but it strikes me as it's not surprising it's Wales, because their whole drive, it seems to me, on their big anti-racist Wales 2030 mission seems to be entirely negative. It just seems to be defining itself as being like, you know, against anything British.
I mean,
you know, so
yeah,
very
I mean,
negative.
it does look like that. I'm reading here that training is being devised as part of a £130,000 project to instruct local librarians in critical whiteness studies and how to deal with issues like the dominant paradigm of whiteness.
Great.
I mean, librarians...
I mean, every 5-year-old needs to know that, don't they? I mean, it's just ludicrous. I mean, how are they going to judge this? Are they going to be interviewing all librarians beforehand to see whether they can see whiteness as a problem, and then after 10 months ask them again and see whether their views have changed according to what they would like them to be? I mean, it's like an effort in sort of mind control, really. And the thing is, if it gets accepted, it's changing a public service, which is what libraries are, which are meant to be, you know, bastions of upholding learning, of individuals being able to access things that they perhaps couldn't in their homes. And
I mean, is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that at the same time as the Welsh Government is focusing on things like this, Welsh performance has fallen to its lowest level ever in maths, reading and science tests taken by 15-year-olds last year? That's the lowest of all UK nations, and the results gap has widened. These are the results last year. I mean, priorities.
That is such a good point, you know, and really a responsible education department would be wanting to look at the correlation between introducing these kinds of anti-racist and decolonising policies into the school curriculum, into school practices, and to see what actually, you know, whether there's a correlation between what the kids are learning. You know, intellectually, the effects of this kind of belief system is very corrosive, because it doesn't recognise truth, and it doesn't recognise the normal standards that, you know, most people acknowledge are signs of success. You know, like your kids can use grammar properly, or speak properly, or, you know, write, you know, decent handwriting. All these things are being seen, recast as signs of privilege, or white privilege. So if you have an education profession and a cultural institution that believes these things, or even if it doesn't believe these things, just goes along with it, then the normal standards of progress will erode.
Yeah, but also, look, I'm just going here now. This is in front of me here, the Office for National Statistics. I just thought I'd type in, well, what is the demographic, ethnic makeup of Wales? All right, so it says here, in Wales, the percentage of the population who identified as Asian, Asian British or Asian Welsh was 2.9%. As black, 0.9%. Mixed or multiple ethnic group was 1.6%. So, with respect, that's not a particularly large percentage of the population. They did have a black First Minister for a while. I'm just wondering, and they are also, numerous different places there are also cities of sanctuary for asylum seekers. I just can't help but wonder whether or not they even do have a racism problem at all.
I I think what you've just pointed to, Patrick, really shows the ideological character of this. That is to say that none of this is a response to actual problems that people face in reality. It's an attempt, a very divisive attempt to get us to accept we no longer exist as a united general public, if you like, but we're groups. We're little ethnic groups. It's sectarian.
Well, thank you very, very much, Alka. Great to have you on the show. You take care. It's Alka Sehgal Cuthbert there of Don't Divide Us.